Imagine a rocket soaring into the sky, a symbol of ambition, progress, and the future. Now imagine that same rocket breaking apart in a fireball mid-air. That's exactly what happened in June 2025, when a SpaceX Starship prototype exploded during ascent. But this story isn't just about a malfunction. This is Curious Minds, and today we're diving into the strange truth behind one of the most talked about aerospace incidents of the year. But we'll go deeper than just rocket science. We'll look into timelines, public reactions, secretive defense partnerships, and what this says about our world's obsession with space, control, and the future. Let's begin with what we know. On June 14, 2025, SpaceX conducted a high-altitude test of its Starship booster and upper stage. The mission was going smoothly until roughly 90 seconds after launch. That's when onboard sensors registered an anomaly in the propulsion system. At first, everything seemed routine: a clean ignition, a flawless vertical ascent, and telemetry data showing nominal status. But right around the 90-second mark, the numbers told a different story. The anomaly wasn't visible to the naked eye at first. It was buried in pressure readings and valve temperatures. Moments later, the vehicle initiated what SpaceX calls a flight termination sequence, essentially a controlled explosion to prevent debris from falling unpredictably. The system worked. No one was hurt, but the footage, it spread like wildfire across the internet. Slow-motion replays, TikToks with dramatic music, conspiracy threads on X. People cheered. Some mocked. Others speculated wildly. But as always, in chaos there's information. And as we started digging, the details got strange. According to Elon Musk, the cause was mechanical. A faulty valve compromised pressure stability, a minor flaw. But when you're dealing with forces greater than a nuclear bomb, minor becomes catastrophic. But here's where things get strange. In the 48 hours before the launch, online platforms were buzzing. Not just with hype, but with oddly specific predictions. Reddit threads time-stamped hours before launch mentioned Stage 1 combustion anomalies. Coincidence? A few of those accounts have since gone dark. Some were burner profiles. One user posted, "Watch the skies, it won't pass 100 seconds. That post now has 3 million views. Did someone know something they weren't supposed to share? This isn't new. The internet has become an oracle of patterns, both through human deduction and AI analysis. Some platforms now track anomalies in global sentiment. These can signal everything from political unrest to market crashes. So why not rocket failures? SpaceX isn't just launching rockets. It's launching futures. Mars colonies, satellite constellations, even moon cargo routes. Its success, or failure, sends ripples through the tech world, the military, and the geopolitical landscape. Following the explosion, NASA was quick to issue support. They called it a normal part of development. But contrast that with the more subdued tones from Roscosmos and the China National Space Administration. Their statements focused on risk, control, and national oversight. The message was clear: when space becomes private, space becomes unpredictable. And unpredictability in geopolitics is dangerous. Meanwhile, aerospace investors were having a moment. SpaceX's private valuation dropped slightly, but not for long. By the following Monday, shares linked to its contractors had rebounded, in some cases sharply. Was it resilience or pre-knowledge? Financial experts point to algorithmic trading, but others suggest leaks. In high-risk industries, insider knowledge can become currency. Someone always benefits from failure. The question is, who? Then there's Starlink. With over 5,000 satellites already in orbit, SpaceX owns the largest private satellite network ever created. If the launch had succeeded, another 40 would have joined. extending internet coverage into isolated regions and into new surveillance possibilities. Governments across the globe are already uneasy about the reach of Starlink. In regions like sub-Saharan Africa and rural India, it's been praised, but in places like Iran, China and North Korea, it's viewed as a threat to sovereignty. Did someone have a vested interest in this launch not succeeding? No evidence points directly to sabotage, but in an era where cyber attacks are more common than missiles, the question has to be asked. Elon Musk himself added to the mystery. In a tweet following the explosion, he wrote, "Data was beautiful. This is why we test." To some, it was business as usual. To others, it felt like misdirection, especially given the vague wording around what the beautiful data actually revealed. Test launches are risky and designed to fail. That's true. But when billions of dollars and global strategic value are on the line, every failure becomes more than just engineering. It becomes political. The US military has already invested in Starship's heavy lift potential. The Pentagon wants the ability to move supplies and equipment anywhere in the world in under an hour. The future of logistics is orbital. A delay here delays everything. And let's not forget private military contractors. Space-based assets aren't just about communications. They're about defense, intelligence, and deterrence. Every launch that fails represents a lost edge in global competition. SpaceX has announced a new timeline. August 2025 is the next major test. The FAA has launched a review. NASA remains optimistic. But behind the scenes, security firms, foreign governments, and private intelligence groups are watching more closely than ever. For Elon, this is business. For the rest of us, it's a test of how much risk we're willing to tolerate for the sake of progress. Every new innovation comes with a shadow. In this case, that shadow streaked across the Texas sky and exploded. So we ask again, was this just a valve failure, or was it a warning shot? A reminder that the path to the stars is neither smooth nor silent, and that space, our final frontier, is already becoming our next battleground. Let's pull back even further. In the last 5 years, we've seen a major shift from space as exploration to space as infrastructure. Satellites aren't just for science. They guide your GPS, enable your banking, even help forecast your weather. And now, they're weapons of influence. In 2024, the US and China both tested anti-satellite missiles. The message was unmistakable. Space assets are fair game. The explosion of a single booster might be technical, or it might be a message in return. Some experts believe the world is already in a low-orbit Cold War, but this one doesn't use borders. It uses bandwidth. Whoever controls orbital lanes controls communication, controls positioning, controls the narrative. Curious Minds isn't here to claim foul play, but we are here to connect dots, and one dot many missed. The Department of Defense filed a restricted access report on SpaceX's incident within hours. Not public, not shared. Why so fast? Why so quiet? We also found that 3 contractors working on thermal shielding for Starship had their systems scanned by foreign entities in May, just weeks before launch. This didn't make headlines, but it happened. That shielding? Crucial to protecting payloads and crew during re-entry. If the Starship was ever going to host human missions, or secret military cargo, it had to survive conditions harsher than war zones. Someone might have wanted to see it fail. Remember, space isn't just about going up, it's about coming back, safely. Any instability in the heat shielding makes the craft unusable for manned missions. Delay that, and you delay the dream of Mars. There's a larger pattern here. The moment private companies became the dominant players in aerospace, the old rules changed. National borders don't apply to orbit. That's why today's battles are fought with data, encryption, and code. Some call it the final frontier. Others call it the final loophole. In space, there's no international police, only treaties and trust. And when rockets explode unexpectedly, trust is the first casualty. Let's be clear, SpaceX has achieved incredible things, from reusable rockets to private astronaut missions. They've redefined space access, but every new height introduces new vulnerabilities. What's next for SpaceX? Likely a reworked valve system, new redundancies, and tighter cybersecurity across all launch systems. They've been quiet on the details, which to some analysts suggests they're bracing for further scrutiny. Meanwhile, the public waits. Space fans, investors, politicians, defense analysts, everyone's watching August. If that test succeeds, confidence rebounds. If it fails again, the world will ask deeper questions. Questions like, should space be privatized at all? Should companies hold the keys to orbit? Or should control return to governments despite the red tape? It's a debate older than rockets and more urgent than ever. Back to the explosion. The video has now been watched over 150 million times. It's become a digital spectacle. But beneath the boom is a quiet truth. One rocket can change more than a trajectory. It can change policy. It can change trust. So next time you see a launch countdown, remember, it's not just about reaching space. It's about who controls the sky and why. Curious minds will be watching the August test. We'll report what happens and what doesn't get said, because sometimes what matters most is what's missing from the official timeline. Until then, keep asking questions, explore what's possible and what's hidden, and never assume the silence of space means nothing is happening. History shows us that major breakthroughs often follow major failures, but it also shows us that hidden hands shape the pace of progress. Who benefits if the next rocket never leaves the pad? While the official story is told in press conferences, another story is being written in encrypted files, financial transactions, and classified briefings. The truth might not be out of reach, just out of frame. So keep watching, keep questioning, because every satellite, every rocket, every burst of flame against the sky might be writing a new chapter in human history, and it's up to us to read between the lines. Curious minds will continue following this investigation wherever it leads, from boardrooms to launch pads to dark corners of the net, where speculation becomes signal. We've reached out to several aerospace insiders and analysts. While most declined to comment, one cryptically noted, "If it was sabotage, you won't find the culprit, but you might find who celebrated." That single sentence sent us spiraling. Because in today's world, celebration leaves data trails. Watch for stock shifts, social spikes, unusual purchases. All might hint at someone's quiet victory. Sometimes disruption isn't loud. It's buried in percentages. It's cloaked in technical jargon, or quietly approved in back-channel meetings. The most dangerous moves are the ones you never see. So what now? We observe, we analyze, we connect the dots that others ignore, because we believe the public deserves more than PR sound bites. They deserve context. And in this case, context suggests one undeniable truth. Space is no longer just science fiction. It's infrastructure, it's power, and it's vulnerable. As we count down to August, expect more eyes to turn skyward, not with wonder, but with calculation. Every launch is now a data point. Every failure, a potential strategy. Curious Minds will cover the upcoming test flight in real time, with data breakdowns, political analysis, and exclusive commentary. If something unusual happens, you'll hear it here first. And beyond August, we'll explore the future of space privatization, the ethics of militarizing orbit, and whether human expansion beyond Earth is a dream or a diversion. Because in a world where attention is currency, even a rocket explosion can become part of the distraction economy. Some say we shouldn't read too much into this, but if history teaches us anything, it's that what seems like an accident today can be a turning point tomorrow. So let's not look away, let's examine, let's question, let's stay curious. What do you think really happened? Glitch, sabotage, or something more strategic? Drop your theory in the comments. If this episode challenged the way you see space, tech, and the future, like, subscribe, and share. Help us reach minds that need opening. This has been Curious Minds. And remember, open your minds and stay curious.